Shall I start? Shall I start, sir?
Start ಮಾಡಿ.
Hi, good evening all. Welcome to the technical seminar presentation. I am Ashwini, batch 30, and my topic presentation on the impact of visual effects on a user perception with the virtual human in an augmented reality and conflicted situation. Under the guidance of Professor Dr. Deepu R. and co-evaluator Professor Shobha B.S. and Professor Anand Kumar H.N. The content in an PPT are introduction, literature survey, working, immersive technology and applications, advantages and disadvantages, real case studies, and conclusion and future work and reference paper. Introductions. Virtual human refers to a human-like and computer graphics manifested due to their human-like appearances. People tend to expect with the virtual humans to behave in a similar way to a real human with the use of various social clues protected to the one's past experience and enact by the evolutions. To explain such interactions with the virtual humans, researchers have adopted the term called a social presence and a co-presence. The social presence as a sense of being socially connected with the real scented being, and the co-presence as a sense of being together in a shared space in a real world. A virtual human in an augmented reality can provide a illusory or imaginary sense of being together in a real space. The illusions can break when the augmented virtual humans conflicted or overlaid with the real objects. The spectral sensing technology in an augmented reality is a notable change in virtual humans. Virtual humans has a research in past decades of advanced augmented reality technology that has used a head-mounted display called HMD. Virtual humans can share the real space with the user and interact with the surrounding physical objects. Recent spectacle technology is started to make a physical possible virtual humans in response to collisions, but it has a limitations like resolutions, accuracy, and invertible conflicted situations like unexpected or passerby things. Depending on the situation, virtual humans' possible behaviors to avoid collisions may interfere with the original interaction with the user. Virtual humans overlaid in a real space brought a challenge in inducing of a sense of co-presence. The optics see-through overlaid in a real space brought a as a challenge of an augmented reality has a head-mounted display is a small field of view, and that semi-transparent images tinder users from a feeling co-presence with the virtual humans. The challenge is that unlikely a real people, part of virtual human body are invisible or transparented in an optical see-through. In an augmented reality like a ghost, a real environment make it difficult for virtual humans to respond real events while compiling a physical rules and lay to reduce a co-presence with the virtual humans. For example, a situation in which the virtual humans overlap with the passing through the real objects can remind user of a user vulnerability and then lead to a break the illusory sense of being together in an same physical objects. The advanced 3D technology will detect and prevent a collision situations. Some situations still remains an unavoidable conflicted with the virtual humans will be occurred. Virtual humans may detect the motions of passerby and avoid collisions with the user. Such behavior may block the original interactions. The augmented reality, there are large number of collision situations where user interact call intendedly disturbed by the various environment, especially in dynamic real objects that are not related to the augmented content. To address a collision, the augmented reality more focused on presenting a physical possible interactions and of conflicted free between a virtual objects and a real environmental. Filmmakers and a game developer has took approach to use a special visual effects called a VFX for audience to accept a physical impossible situation. This was inspired the method applied for VFX of virtual human bodies when facing a complex situation instead of avoiding them. Next comes 1 minute.
Yes, you just continue.
I have a network problem. 1 minute. Sir. Next comes on literature survey, paper one, perspective augmented reality and then virtual reality displays. Is it visible, sir? Sir, is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Yes, sir. Next comes the literature survey, paper one, which is referred, perspective augmented reality and then virtual reality displays, and then perspective and challenges. In the paper, this was in the paper in 2020 by iScience Journal. Here, the paper has an introductions of an augmented reality and virtual reality and application by analyzing the challenge of augmented reality and virtual display, the solutions was presented. In on paper second, review of an visual perception research in an optic see-through augmented reality. In the paper, this was in the paper 2020 by ICR and IVE. It's a research journal paper. Here, the paper, the user perceive virtual content on an augmented reality optic see-through display. The paper presented solely from an IEEE and ACMR digital libraries and provide a basic for a computer science center work in an domain, and additional relative work existed in another technology like a library scientific center libraries are well focused on vision science. um, Vision science is like using optic see-through libraries. Uh, Next is a third paper. This is my base paper. The impact of visual effect on user perception with the virtual humans in an augmented conflict situation. This was current yearly published, 2021, by the IEEE, and the author is H. Kim. Here, the visual effects of VFX applied to virtual human body parts in situation where the virtual humans and physical objects collide each other. Visual effects improve virtual humans socially and co-presence and physically depending on the situations and then effect types as well as influenced user attention and then social behavior. Next comes working in an above figure one. In the experiment, the augmented virtual human appears to user in a real space and demonstrate three conflicted situations passing through a closed door. Uh, a part of a body occupying with the real objects while the virtual human interacting with the user. A passerby can penetrate the virtual humans. The VFX or a visual effects applied to virtual body parts that collided with the real objects. Virtual humans is initially outside the room beside the door. Then he walks through the closed door in three ways, like fade in out effect and flare up effects and overlapping flare up effects. The situation there is no physical conflict occurred. This results indicates that VFX has significant effect on improving the user perception for different situations. VFX as a visual stimuli, VFX could be influenced the sense of body temperature even it was not real. VFX can simply express in a collision part where a virtual human can pass through doors like a ghost. VFX may have a negative effect that remind virtual humans are not real. In figure 2, the experiment shown in a room stimulate the collision situations between a virtual humans and a real objects during the interaction scenario. It has only a closed door to enter the room, and it has the transparent window that allows a participant to look out the door to get a collision with the real objects. Same physical objects placed like a table and a cabinet on each side of this room. And a, cli- a cabinet is a larger than virtual human heights to observe the virtual humans and real objects overlaps. It uses a 3D spectral map is used. The unexpected collision situation by passerby has attached a sensor on an upper body and it will tracked by external trackers. By using a 3D locations, passerby through the trackers to support collisions. The experiment has the participant is 6 meters away from the door. Then the virtual human walks from outside and stops about 2 meters away from the door. The distance between a participant and a virtual human is called a public space. The magic leap OST optics see through the augmented reality is called a head-mounted display that provide an interaction to a participant. Virtual humans has a visual embodied appearances as a 3D male characters, but it has a different name, voice, and jacket colors. Uh, to get a difference by user, virtual human body uses facial shapes and lip sync to ensure the natural mouth movement and facial expressions when virtual human take a participant. Secondly, virtual human eyes to stare at the user as a speak. And thirdly, all the virtual humans voice prompt were pre-recorded by the Google text to speech, and a virtual human shows some animations like a body gesture and idly. It will generate natural movements of a virtual human locomotion to behave user like using final inverse skin matter IK that observes walking through the doors, understanding the around the room while talking and climbing onto the table, etc. During the experiment, the remote control is recorded. Is used virtual human dialogues and behavior is being recorded outside of the room. This is the implementation like a client server application that communicate wirelessly with the Magic Leap devices and to run the scenario in sequentially. This result whether the interaction was complete or not to check it is used. Uh, in the next networking, here it is having a behavioral measures that exactly to the participant like a head position, head positions and orientations and eye gazing data like an eye trackers. All recorded data are fixed in an
Ashwini,
functions. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
make it full screen.
Yes, sir. Sir, I am having network issue, but if I start, it will get network delay, sir.
Okay.
I will try. I will try, sir. Sir, it is visible.
Yes, it's visible.
Sorry, sir. behavior measure locomotory behaviors like a minimum distance, and it is from participants who stopped walking if the distance are related or large, walking speed, and how it is overlapping, and what are the other real objects is collided with it is used. And in the working we can see the virtual humans are roaming around the room, and it has a maintain a social and co-presence in an collision situations. The effect might be required for a type of conflicted situations. Um, these are the similar images that is used in an conflicted situations of an visual effects. Next is image technology and its applications. Image technology is a mind-loaded technology which is revolutions of an past, recreate and present and future. The image technology comprises of a virtual reality, the augmented reality, and a mixed reality are the fastest growing and fascinated technology. Um, Creating or extended reality is done by images technology by using user in a digital environment, having an application in different domains. The technology gaining moment with every passing day and are transforming and helping us to reimagine the future. Virtual reality uses a headset, head mounted display, a spectral sensing technology to create a simulated environment and help us individually to emerge into its experience and entirely different reality. Lot of companies are invested billions of dollars in a virtual reality sector. Some of the best products are Oculus Quest faced in a challenges of delivering the same quality of tracking as the multi-thousand-dollar systems like an optic track at the order of magnitude lower cost. Each tracker devices predefined and ostentations of an infrared LEDs hidden under the external plastics, which you can highlight it in an image. IR lights is invisible to the human eye sensor, which are basically a camera which filters to see only the eye infrared rays, infrared lights. It will send the frames to the user computer over the USB cable at 60 hertz. The system and the PC processor will collect each frames and identify the positive of the each IR LEDs, and thus the relative positions of each objects is used. The software can easily recognize which LEDs and it's seeing because it knows the shape of the constellations. It remember where the object was in a previous frame, and it knows the direction of an acceleration from an accelerometers, and rotation is identified by the glycoscope. Another one is used as a slam. It has a similar to other, but it has a tracker algorithm called a computer vision algorithm used to stimulate the locations and the mapping. SLAM algorithm work by noticing unique static features in a room by comparing rotations and accelerations from an accelerometer and a gyrometer to know features appears to move the positions of an headset can be noted. Several companies have released headsets on SLAM like Microsoft Windows mixed reality headset, Google as a Lenovo Mirage Solo, and HTC and Facebook uses Google calls are used in an algorithm called a world sensor, and Facebook called as Octus Insight to track the system operate like a constellator with visible and IR lights. Headsets are can track the controllers. Next is a real case study. In a figure one, You can see a virtual human influencer. She's 19, has a 2.7 million followers on an Instagram. She works with the fashion label like an Parda and has been covered magazines. She's might be knowing many of you. The piece of information that might becomes shocking. She is not a real. She is a fact of creating in 2016 by the startup based in Los Angeles. She has raised a huge popular of influencing and influencer marketing. The influencer is she knows the pulse of a human, and her name is Leek Makule, who is made out of pixels and a computer generated imaginary. She represents a new way of a social market, also known as a virtual influencer to the world. Um, in an figure two, aviations in an virtual reality. Virtual reality enables to design the wing problem and other aircraft issues. The trainer training the ground crew to the detect and eliminate the accurately. The immersive virtual reality technology is used. You will be able to properly train your ground crew and make sure the aircraft are fine and ready for any unexpected situation. The immersive is digitally environmental is used. It to experience a world with which different from our reality you think, but potential of virtual reality and augmented reality revolutions many other industries like education, medical field, business industries are used. Next is advantages. Visual effects improving in virtual humans and socially and co-presence, physically depending on situations and effect of visual types of influences, user attention and social behavior. And head-mounted display optic see-through has been used including gaming, aviations, engineering, medicines, educations, and military training, and 3D cinemas also. Um, it also helps in GPS devices also to locate the places. High visible VFX objects had the virtual humans were not real, but it could be interested and entertained to the user by stimulated the experience. By creating and engaging with the virtual humans, brand of gaining influences by using a novel form of interaction with the customer, brands are not only the attractions to curious fans, but also use a new way of engaging the audience. The audience, virtual humans are smart, creative, and evocative. The virtual humans are influenced by the future use for advertisements and fashions also. The disadvantages are doctors wants that a virtual reality, which is a computer generated stimulations of a real or imaginary environment, can cause a eye strain because the brain forced to process a visual stimuli is different to normal to risk the eye, and it is quite expensive um, to use in our everyday life and might be less accessible for a small business. It is a very expensive and implement to develop AR technology based on the projects. Lack of privacy is a major drawback in an AR. Next is conclusion. Visual effects improves our virtual human socially and co-presence. Uh, and physically depending on the situations and effect types has been well influenced to user attention and social behavior. VFX applied to virtual humans body parts in a situation where virtual humans physical objects collided. VFX would make a physicality to conflict less noticeable and address the perception issue with the virtual humans. In the future work in the paper, using a VFX in a various scene, more impossible situations when a participant walk somewhere with the virtual humans and explore other virtual VFX clues to study and explore involving a multiple and more of dynamic interaction would be provided for the valuable and useful insight is used. These are my reference paper. Thank you. Hello.
Okay. One question is, what was the motive? Why did you choose to give a presentation on virtual reality and augmented reality?
Ma'am, virtual reality and augmented reality is for normal persons like us, we are not knowing about the technology. It was very quite interested to know about that, so I had choose this topic, and this is a different technology that it is not visible to the normal eye by using that lenses and all. For that, I had choose this topic, ma'am.
Oh, and one simple question.
Yes, ma'am.
Simulation, you have heard of simulation?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And you have presented augmented reality, and you spoke about augmented reality and virtual reality.
Yes, ma'am.
All the three scenarios are virtual environment only. Can you bring out the major difference from your perspective? Can you compare the three: simulation, virtual, and augmented reality?
Yes, ma'am. Virtual reality is used in a mixed reality, and here in an image working, there are control conditions where the both reality is used here in these images. Like a normal person is passing through some other physical body, it will be collided, and this collided may avoiding. This is used in virtual reality and augmented reality to get uh, collision situations is presented now.
Okay, that is from my end. Sir, Anand sir. I think Vipu sir is there.
So,
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Ashwini.
Yes, sir.
So can you just describe what are the difference between VR and AR? And you said one more, mixed reality also.
Yes,
What
sir.
are the clear differences?
So, sir, can you repeat it?
Can you clearly distinguish these three things?
Uh, Sir, augmented reality can be used in spectral sensing, and virtual reality also used in spectral sensing. But by using both, we can't use the VFX like a visual effects that cannot be used. By to use that effects and that it will improve the collided situations with the virtual humans and the real human or an objects. So the mixed reality is placed. So to avoid many collisions, that is used. So
Sir, Anand sir. Think we can conclude. Vishwanatha next.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Vishwanath ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ಇನ್ಯಾರಿದ್ದೀರಾ?
Nakia, I think, ma'am. Nakia is the last person.
Okay. Okay. We will take up Vishwanath. As he put it on the link, group ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆಯಾ?
Oh,
ಮ್ಯಾಮ್
Okay,
ಚಾಟ್
ask him
ಅಲ್ಲಿ
share. Chat ಅಲ್ಲೂ share ಮಾಡು. Okay, fine.
yes, ma'am.
We'll conclude here.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you for seeing.